Damn, it's about time. Na'Vi versus EG Game 2. We moved smoothly and swiftly from Game 1 into Game 2. EG leading this best of 3, 1-0. Na'Vi not out of the woods just yet, but wouldn't surprise me one bit if they struck right back and took 2 games and end up finding their way into the grand finals. It's the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League playoffs, our grand finals day. 4 big matches all packed into one day. All of it because the Western qualifiers for the International 2013 start tomorrow. EG, of course, one of the highlight teams competing in those, did not receive a return invite, have to fight their way and earn their way this year through the qualifiers. Will they be able to do so? You can find out starting tomorrow over at twitch.tv/thegd studio. They've made a big Reddit post with tons of info on that, but enough about the International 3. Well, one last thing. If you haven't gotten your compendium yet, time to do it. It's running out of opportunities to place those predictions. I think you have an hour or so left, something like that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Right now, it's all about EG versus Na'Vi. EG leading this best of 3, 1-0. I'm LD of Beyond the Summit, and I'm joined here by the one and only Bulba. Bulba, how you doing?
I'm doing well. That was an interesting game, because usually when Na'Vi wins the lanes that hard, which they did win, I mean, mid was even, but top lane won pretty big because of Funnick getting a haste rune. And then bottom lane, even though no one really died, EG's goal wanted to try and crush the Phantom Assassin from farming, but Havo still got solo experience and farm. So
he started off slow, but he really caught up in the end, and it just, EG played well. It's like you said, they just picked Na'Vi off too many times. Na'Vi just felt a bit out of position that game, but unprepared for playing against the Nyx, maybe a hero that they don't normally have to deal with, at least not with the Infest combo. That was a pretty unusual pairing, but it worked beautifully, and well, they'll give the Nyx away this game. This time, they get the Dendi Mag. They go for the Kuroki Rubik again to protect RP from being stolen, and hey, it's Kuroki. He always wants to play Rubik, so where does EG go from here? That's the question. They won't have the Lifestealer at their disposal. They won't have to fear Rubik either. Both of these teams, that's a priority pick, but it seems like for the time being, Na'Vi are the ones who are getting the Rubik.
yeah, EG did a really good job of taking their losses last game at the start and just saying, screw it, we still have better mid game heroes, and they did a really good job of moving around with the Nyx and the Lifestealer. So usually a lot of the Western teams right now actually don't pick Nyx at all.
Right. I was a little surprised to even see him that much today.
Yeah, so this is a first pick Nyx over at Mag. Usually in the Western scene and also in the Eastern scene, Mag is seen as like the first pick of everything besides maybe Wisp in the Western scene and Bat and just Batrider in the Chinese scene. But
yeah, I mean, there's sometimes heroes like Lifestealer and Lone Druid who see a ton of play in Asia, but Nyx has kind of fallen off in both scenes. To be honest, we don't see much of him in Asia either. We definitely see him, but he's just not first pick material, or and occasionally gets banned, but often kind of ignored by teams as of late. So it's generally, I guess my thoughts were, teams have sort of learned how to play with them. They're prepared. They buy sentries, but we saw there, you might think you're prepared, but then you have to actually execute against the Nyx, and that's a tall order.
Yeah, the Asian scenes are actually just deviating and just going late game with the Nyx and just saying, okay, this hero, it is hard to gank, like what Fear was doing last game. Like, that is really hard because a lot of the teams right now, they have sentries everywhere, but Na'Vi was in a poor state that they didn't really have sentries, and Fear got really good ganks off. But usually you don't see that a lot. So Nyx late game scales really well, except that once the other team gets BKBs. But even then, he's probably one of the best supports late game because of how good mana burn and his spells are. And you have to just play a certain way when you play versus Nyx, which Na'Vi did not do.
Quadruple disconnect from EG. Fear still alright in the captain's chair. Hopefully he doesn't leave us too. I hope we don't need a remake for this one. Of course, we still have a lot of Dota to go today. If you're just tuning in, wondering what's going on, it's the final day of action for the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League. Man, my brain is escaping me. I am sorry, guys. I haven't slept much, so not my most polished cast. But it's our second to last series of the day. It's our loser bracket finals between EG and Na'Vi, with EG currently leading 1-0. But after this, whoever wins moves on to play the Alliance. In a best of 5, there is no advantage. Your advantage is you don't have to play the loser bracket finals, I guess, is how the organizers...
Is the grand finals today?
Yeah, it's today. Yeah, okay. So, exhausting for EG and for Na'Vi, whoever gets there. Even just to be this far in. I know EG was playing the Curse Invitational. Even just the number of games Na'Vi has played. A grueling day for everyone involved, but necessary to get it all done before the qualifiers. Na'Vi will go for a profit. EG able to find their way back in the game, so good to see that there's nothing too amiss for the time being. But yeah, going for profit here. So we saw Funix Batrider not really work last game. They'll go for something different now.
Yeah, so Shadow Demon, Nyx, and Clock. These are actually heroes that we also like picking a lot. The Shadow Demon, Nyx, and the Clock. So this playstyle that you have with the Nyx and the Shadow Demon, you have two really strong late game. Like Shadow Demon is arguably the best support late game just because of how good all his spells are. Disruption with the Soul Catcher and then the ultimate. So it looks like not EG is going to be trying to go. They can aggressively try lane with this just try combo, but it's not as efficient because usually when you have Shadow Demon Clock, you want something like a Kodal or a Leshrac to do damage, and Nyx isn't really that damage. He just has an Impale. So this tri-lane isn't as efficient, but it does let them have a really good late game and mid game.
Well, so the alternative is they can just throw the Clockwork in the off lane, which just from casting EG, it seems like they're tending to. I haven't seen them run him in a tri lane too much, so I guess that's the other option is a tri lane Nyx Shadow Demon and Clockwork just goes.
They ran it once. They ran it versus Alliance in one of the games. I think it was like remember where Bambo got a Invis Rune level 1.
Yeah, and then, but yeah, it was with the Leshrac though. I guess was the big difference.
Yeah, it was with Leshrac and Shadow Demon, so that was a lot more damage. With the Shadow Demon, the Nyx usually want to go safe lane. And Nyx is really strong versus Prophet. I think we had a game versus Dignitas the other day where it was late game scenario with the Nyx and the Prophet, and like one mana burn basically took out like 1/3 of Furion's HP. So
not to mention, Furion's often a hero off on his own split pushing, and that's where Nyx loves to strike. So, and with the Clock, these are both heroes that can really punish a split pushing Prophet.
Yeah, definitely. Clockwork, Na'Vi they're obviously going to be going for their kind of, usually when they play Prophet, they just send it into the jungle, like what most of the teams do right now. They just, Funnick, he goes for they pull him to Clarities and he goes for the really greedy build, which is...
Right, just rushing the Midas as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the problem with that build is if the other team does go aggressive, you're kind of left in a situation where you have a Prophet that has to go lane with no regen, besides Clarities, and just no stats at all because he's rushing Midas, so... It is a risk you have to take, and the problem with EG's heroes is you don't know for sure whether they're going to go aggressive or not. So we might just see Funny going a straight up build and laning at the start, and then going to jungle if it is a tri-lane top.
They've banned Keeper of the Light, Alchemist, as well as Juggernaut, so taking one of the best counter pushers in the game off the board. Also a hero that can really be a nemesis of tri-lane, so maybe it is a tri-lane with the Nyx Shadow Demon Clock. If you want to go aggressive tri-lane, then banning, all of these heroes, I would say especially the Keeper of the Light and the Juggernaut, really good, because going on Jug is going to be very hard in that tri-lane. Tri-laning against Keeper of the Light is going to be very hard. They'll follow this up with a Storm Spirit, so they have the Clock, they have the Storm. Are you sure it's not your team standing in for EG? Because these are really looking like some liquid picks right now.
Who knows? EG has been kind of playing a different style ever since they started, I think since the last week or so. They've been picking these kind of lineups, the kind of that we also do, and they do love the Storm Spirit pick because first off, Storm Spirit and Clock are really good versus Magnus. You saw it, I think it was in the VG game in the Perfect World tournament. It was VG versus LGD China, and getting a good RP off without BKB versus both Storm and Clock is extremely frustrating.
It's not possible, to be honest.
Yao got a lot of criticism for that game, but in his position, ZSMJ was aiming him every fight with the Orchid, and CT-wise cogs make it so that the cogs just make it so that the team fight is like split into two, so it is hard to get the perfect RP off, because if you do miss blink into the cog or something and then you get thrown out, you have no mana and then you just lose the fight. So it is a hard game for Mag, but Na'Vi has like the ultimate team fight lineup with the Mag, the Jakiro, and the Rubik. So.
Yeah, they've got a lineup that can kind of stall the game, and if it goes late, it's very hard. But EG are going to get another mobile hero. Wow, they have 4 heroes that can be almost anywhere. With Anti-Mage, Clock, Storm, Nyx, nowhere will feel safe for Na'Vi if they fall behind in this game. Will they fall behind? Remains to be seen, but picking the Prophet isn't going to do much to strengthen their lanes. They could go... I mean, I don't really see them going aggressive right now. So... Well, EG goes back for the Anti-Mage. I guess it's looking more and more like... the Anti-Mage can lane 1v1 against the Prophet, so really you can go aggressive tri-lane if you want. Pull the Anti-Mage a bit, and it's a tough matchup for Funnick. And if he starts in the jungle and then has to come to lane, he's pretty much screwed.
Yeah, and AM is extremely good. I mean, AM Rubik is really good versus AM. That's what I like. The blink steal is basically a free blink for the Rubik. So and Kuroki, I mean that's obviously good news for Kuroki. The problem is the other spells that he has to steal isn't as epic as maybe Mag RP or Darksphere Wall. But when you pick Rubik, if you do have the Magnus on your team, it's like denying them for also having the Rubik to steal your mag, so that's probably another reason. And it suits Navi's playstyle a lot. He can go solo gank lanes. So now it's dependent on what Navi wants to pick for Havos.
It seems like the one big spell to steal is going to be Impale. They'll go Morphling, Navi taking something unusual, at least for them. I can't even recall the last time I've seen Navi play this year. I want to say it goes back to the International too for me. I'm sure they played it since then, but I haven't seen it. So I'm excited for this pick. It gives you a hero that can create illusions of the anti-mage. Obviously, Empower, being based on your base stats, is going to be incredible for Morphling's damage output if the game goes late
I don't know
enough.
about the Morphling.
I want to be excited about it, Sam. You're going to kill my thunder, huh?
No, I'm excited about the hero. I'm just saying in the lineup,
right?
Versus what they're playing, Shadow Demon and Nyx are so good versus Morphling. Because Morphling's dependent so much on his stat gain and having all his agility, and then Shadow Demon just disrupts him later on. And it's one of the reasons that the Chinese love Shadow Demon so much is because it's so good at both anti-carrying and anti-carrying the other hero, or just making your carry even stronger. So, and the Nyx, Morphling depends so much on having mana. And ever since the nerfs to Morphling, where he has such high mana cost for all his spells, that's really, really rough.
So they're looking at an aggressive tri-lane. They're going to send Funnick safe lane. He's building to be in the lane, and they're going to tri-lane with a Jakiro, a Rubik, and a Morphling. Whenever I've seen Morphling picked, it's kind of like the Dignitas style, where AUI gets protected, safe lane farm. We'll see how this works out. Definitely unorthodox, to say the least.
Yep. But EG, on the other hand, they think that Navi is going to go for a kind of traditional short lane setup. But I do think one of the reasons Navi is going aggressive is because they know that EG is going to be going aggressive. So they want to dodge the aggressive that EG has. Because this Shadow Demon, Clock, and Nyx, it's going to be annoying to play versus with Morphling. Because Cogs obviously takes away the mana. Nyx and Shadow Demon can obviously go contest pools versus Rubik and Jakiro. So they're trying to, and I don't want to give Jo a free farm. AM versus Furion is really annoying for the Furion.
And they can also prey. They can also prey on the Prophet if they do this tri-lane. So, with that being said, guys, it's Game 2 of a best-of-3, or WePlay.tv Dota 2 League Grand Finals day of action now well underway. This is going to be our third of 4 series for the evening. The winner of this moves on to play Alliance in the Grand Finals. That will be a best-of-5 with no advantage. This is a best-of-3, and right now, EG leading that best-of-3 1-0. On the side of EG, Sexy Bambo has now arrived safely in Arizona. He'll be playing the Clockwork. Fear on the Nyx Assassin had a sensational performance in Game 1. Can he do it again in Game 2? We'll find out. Off the bat, they may rotate towards mid. Beat on the Shadow Demon. Towards the mid lane Demon, handling the Storm Spirit. We're going to see a Mana Burn immediately on Dendi to make him a sad, sad panda. And he will be sad. He will be driven back as well. Last but not least, for the EG squad, Jo on the bottom lane, left to his own devices, has been pulled a bit of regen, actually quite a bit from his team. But still at that, going to have a tough matchup ahead of him. And over on the other side, we've got Na'Vi maybe looking at a potential gank on Dendi, but doesn't look like it.
Look what Funnick did. Look what Funnick did. He did a really smart move. He dragged the entire wave to his tower, or between his towers. So he's afraid of Shadow Demon and Nyx, but at this stage he can deny a few creeps and get the free farm. And Furion versus Clockwork in this lineup, it's going to be pretty hard for the Clock. Furion should do decent to Clockwork.
Absolutely. Just to finish up the introductions for Na'Vi, we have Dendi on the Magnus up towards the top lane. Funnick, as you mentioned, play the Prophet, will actually teleport past the creep wave to get safely to his tower to make sure he doesn't miss any experience or gold. Very cute play from him. Towards the bottom lane, Havos going to be handling the Morphling Puppy on the Jakiro. And last but not least, Kuroki on his Rubik. So with all that being said, Bulba introductions have been dispensed with. We're now going to have a head-on tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario. What do you make of it?
I have to give it to EG's lineup. The PMS in AM, there's no way Na'Vi can actually harass the AM down. And he's already going to get level 3. He got solo experience, but EG's going to pull the camps back, and they're going to get free farm on their supports and the AM. So, free levels.
And then looking towards top lane, I guess the good news is Funnick's having a well, a decent time of it considering he thought he was going to be up against the tri-lane at first. Still CSing quite well. 9-1 at that. Bambo is leading 11-0, but still pretty close so far. And now it seems like Funnick's starting to pull ahead in terms of the harassment war. Slowly but surely. So then the question is, how is middle lane going? 12-3 for Demon. As for Dendi, sitting not so pretty at 8-1, is starting to struggle, and generally it seems like a matchup where the Storm has the advantage, but Dendi's gonna find a skewer, body blocking Demon as well. Well, that might turn the tides of this lane, but not as much as I thought it would. Demon just able to tank those tower shots. Now the Courier needs to run. It will, just a little bit late to do so, but, well, even after that skewer into tower, it still seems like Demon's in a comfortable position himself.
Yeah, this matchup is going to be favored towards the Storm at early levels, and it's as soon as Mac hits level 5, when he gets a level 3 Shockwave, it's going to be more even. So it should be, it's going to be fine, no matter what Dendi's going to get farmed. The problem is right now, this lane, Bambo's actually doing surprisingly well, and that's mainly just because Funnick kind of, the first wave he was playing with a bit passive, and he missed maybe 2 or 3 creeps at the tower. So.
Well, I imagine he'll go for... It seems like the popular build is the phase boots nowadays, just to kind of like dominate any melee hero in the lane. Seems like it's most popular against Lifestealer, but what do you think he's going to go for that, or what's your approach if you're Funnick here?
It's going to be dependent on what he gets next.
Oh, he's got
this 1v1 scenario, phase boots is really, really good, I think, for Furion.
Yeah,
so,
it seems like especially against Lifestealer, that's like the best hero to get it against, because he just like can't do anything to you, and you're able to CS freely and harass him a lot. But for the time being, Funnick's gone for an early raid of Basilius. Won't surprise me one bit if he heads towards bottom at some point, but speaking of that bottom lane, look at what EG are doing. Just so much pulls and experience. They're going to throw Beatus into the river. KuroKy, you cheeky little bugger. Oh my goodness, but can they actually kill him off? He doesn't have the lift. He'll zap. Puppey still unable to find a nice path. He clips him regardless. They get the first blood. Wow, KuroKy Dota. Bulba.
That was a really good decision there from KuroKy.
You're impressed?
Look at top. Look at top.
Top lane.
Dendi's ganking Bambo.
Dendi with an early, looks like a haster, roaming up, looking for Bambo. They'll find the kill. And now the lane's going to be great for Funnick with that kill. He may have to go back to base. Actually has a salve, so he'll be fine. And we'll continue to see us freely. The good news is Demon's getting something, but that slows down the clockwork. That means top lane will go well for Funnick. And now bottom lane gets harder for EG, giving up that first blood. So Navi looking good in game 2.
Yeah, Navi's going to be fine. Just because of those 2 kills, I feel. Because that kill basically guaranteed Furion won his lane. And the kill on Shadow Demon gave support. Navi supports some gold. I mean, without that kill,
oh, Demon's gonna die. The Prophet ult was there from Funnick. Tossed it out, bounced through the creeps. And Demon, he thought he could make a go on Dendi. He was wrong, and he pays.
I didn't even expect that. He just got RP'd and ultied, so I doubt Demon expected that as well. He's probably like, oh, what the... And looking bottom, yeah, they're going to be able to contest this.
Yeah, they're contesting the pull. They're getting some farm on that Morphling. And speaking of Morphling, 24-7. Compare that to our anti-mage. Jo, despite the poor man's shield, despite having a decent start, only 17-2. And now all of a sudden, Funnick, he was behind by 3 or 4 CS. He's now 29-6. And with the phase boots, it's like, what do you do if you're Bambo? You do have the stout shield. That helps a bit, but you can never really catch the Furion unless you hit a hook. I mean, you're the clockwork expert. How do you recover from this? What do you do?
This is extremely frustrating for Bambo, because you want to be able to get the cog and hook. He has to wait for the hook, like you said. The problem is, once Demon hits level 6, which he is going to get now off this wave, he can gank any lane. So both bottom and top have to play a bit more passive. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Navi kind of rotate their tri-lane up top, because both Puppey and KuroKy are heroes that Storm Spirit can kill.
Puppey just gonna throw out a celebratory ice path here to make sure nobody was trying to come and snipe that road. Indeed, nobody was. Demon just continued to farm in the jungle. It's gonna be hard for EG in the lanes, but like you said, they have a great lineup to break them up. Not just the Storm rotating, but also Bambo too can easily turn the tides of this bottom lane. And well, you wanted Navi to play more defensively, or expected they would anyway, Bulba, and so far they are. They're lurking at the tower. They have boots up on Puppey, nothing on KuroKy just yet, but I'll go for those now at the side shop. Do you maybe just leave the lane, try and gank the Storm once your RP is available?
Look at what Navi's doing. They know that Demon wants to heal, and they know that they can TP to any other lane. So they're playing passive in all their lanes right now, except bottom, but they do that just to put a ward down. So if but first Funnick is really scared that Demon's gonna TP top and gank him, but as soon as he sees the Storm back mid, he's gonna start CSing again.
Yeah, great map awareness from them and not giving up those easy pickoffs. That was the big problem for them in game 1 and great play from EG, granted, but Na'Vi just got picked off a lot. So far showing, I think, better map awareness than that first game. Let's see if they can keep it up. It's early and there's going to be plenty of opportunities for EG moving forward to find additional kills. But for the time being, it's Funnick dominating the top lane. It's a Morphling farming freely on bottom, and then mid lane, well, it's Dendi's Mag off to a good start as well.
Yeah, this is Funnick really showing his map awareness again. Because what Dendi does is he pushes mid down, and then as soon as mid, you don't see the Storm farming mid, the other lanes just go back. So they're playing really well versus Demon's ganking right now. And Demon basically wasted a lot of time TPing top.
As though Mag weren't a good enough mid, he can also keep the lane pushed, which means, like you said, it's easy to tell if someone's missing. Pretty good hero. And they'll find a haste rune for Dendi too, so potentially Bambo. Yeah, oh, this doesn't look good. Haste to Dendi charging top. Rocket is going to be thrown out, but a teleport from behind. Surprise, I'm here, and now you're dead. RPs him out of his own cogs and then skewers him back into a shockwave. Easy and clean kill. And where's the trade? If you're EG, you probably want to go now. They'll impale on the Morphling. That's not the hero to focus. In fact, Jayo's going to be thrown back. A little bit of a short blink, not Fear. Hoofing it out. Still plenty of mana on Havos. Dendi still hasted. He's looking for a shockwave. He'll bring down one. They want more. Fear in all sorts of trouble. There's no points in Adaptive Strike, but there is an Ice Path. He'll stun 3. He's still gonna go down. When it's all said and done, 3 heroes hit the deck. And oh, by the way, they didn't even need a Prophet ult. They didn't even need a Prophet. Funnick just farming freely top. Midas coming soon, so Na'Vi...
Oh, look at Bambo. Yeah, Bambo TP bottom. He wants to try and get a kill, but he's not going to get anything. Another looking at Bambo's build, I play Clockwork a lot. I hate this build so much. It's... Level 1 Battery Assault is basically like the worst spell ever. And if you level up the spell at least once, you get twice as much damage. And Bambo chooses not to level it up. He wants the spam ability of Rocket Flare, which I don't agree with, because if you get any of Na'Vi's heroes in the cog besides the Mag or the Morphling, it's a basically free kill with level 4 battery. But he did get the Rocket Flare, so this is like a lot more spamming lanes out, but you have barely
mid lane. They'll catch out Dendi. They'll look to pull him in. He eats an Impale as well, and now Fear on the hunt. Demon looking for the kill. Fear will claim it. And Fear needed that. Not even close to his level 6 Aura's Arcane Boots. Really struggling in terms of experience. It looked like EG would pull ahead there with the pulls, but then Kuroki lifted down Beataz, and from there it's just been an uphill battle, really, for EG to catch up. But to return to your point, it does feel like Bambo's just kind of I don't know, like he can't really do a whole lot in the direct fights. We also just haven't seen him involved in many fights. He has hook, he has level 6, he teleported bottom, but Na'Vi spotted him with the good ward. Now Fear will rotate top, but no Vendetta for him. And Funnick, once again, back to the tower. In fact, he'll teleport deep within his own jungle and continue farming here. Funnick not wasting time, but also not getting caught. And it's a game of keep away, and he's playing it perfectly.
Another reason this happened was because of Dendi's haste rune gank. Really, no one expects that. It just came out of nowhere, and it did kind of loses his lane. But another thing to look at is Jayo's farm, which is going to be really important, I think. Like, Jayo needs to get the battle free as soon as possible.
And he's having all sorts of trouble here, because now Havost is level 6, so he gets Replicate, and Jayo has a bad time.
Yeah. The problem still is that Morphling is going to be needing a lot of items. Like, he's eventually going to be needing a BKB, I think, versus what EG has. The Nyx, the Clock, the Storm, every hero actually on EG, like, you need to BKB versus that, so...
Not to... Oh, bottom lane. Looks like just a bullying action from Jayo, and there's no Replicate. Wants to force the TP, won't be able to do so. But with no Replicate, he'll have to work the hard way back to base. Bambo's gone in, top lane, onto Funnick. There's your Bambo. Cute play. He's able to hook away, but unfortunately doesn't actually find a kill. Forces Puppey top, but Puppey's probably okay with this. I think he needs the levels anyway.
It's going to be interesting to see what Demon's move is, because I do feel this game depends a lot on the moves he makes early game. He is farming a lot, actually, considerably mid.
Does it feel like a Boots of Travel game to you again?
Possibly, because Navi's lineup is, I mean, the Storm is so good versus the Furion if you can get the Boots of Travel as well. And you want to be able to stop the Furion from sweat pushing. So I do think a possible Boots of Travel.
And And with their lineup, it's got some synergy. With the Nyx Assassin, the Clockwork, as mentioned, these heroes can gank you from almost anywhere, and you don't even know if they're coming half the time. So having Boots of Travel and Storm, it might just be that critical mass that EG need to just suddenly show up at your door, kick it in, steal all your food, and walk away scot-free. No cuffs being deployed. Dendi is farming for his Blink, though, very close at that, so an early Blink for him. A great start for Funnick and Hvost farming well to Na'Vi. All of their cores getting, whatever they win, it's just, the supports really, for Na'Vi seem to get less than other teams, but it's just their cores get so far ahead that they run away with it, and so far, that's kind of been the story of this game.
Yeah, and they're going to be 5-manning bottom, or 4-manning it.
And Beatus is running for it.
Yeah, there's no way that Na'Vi can, EG can stop this push, I feel. Especially the fact that, looks like Funnick, what's he going for? Is that a Force Staff?
Well, versus the Cogs, it makes a lot of sense.
Versus the Cogs. It's a good item. He's not going to be going for the Shadow Blade, I guess. And looks like EG's making a good decision, though. They're actually going to be pushing both bottom and mid. So they're going to get mid tower no matter what. The top tower is what's going to be really important for Na'Vi. I feel they shouldn't give up the top tower.
And if they give up this mid tower, that's really going to stabilize Jayo's farm, who was struggling a bit top lane. Dendi will blink in, and then skewers, and RP Sphere back into the tower, unable to get out. Now Bambo potentially in trouble. Here comes the teleport from Funnick. Nope, gets cancelled. Decides to think better of it and sit back and farm, but Dendi unveils a shiny new Blink and finds a kill on Fear, and this is time when Fear... Oh, he even used Vendetta, so time where Fear is off the map, not Vendetta ganking you. Really nice play by Dendi, and defends the tier 1 too.
Yeah, that was actually a really good play there from Dendi. He shift-clicked the Blink Skewer, so Fear didn't even have time to use the Carapace. And then he RP'd, because Fear did go in Vendetta. And it might have been, like... The thing about right now is, EG can do whatever they want for... I'm pretty sure they wrote down the timer. So till RP is up again, they do have a lot of free reign, because that's their main disable right now. Like, Na'Vi's setup depends a lot on Dendi getting the RP off. And that's the problem kind of with their lineup, I feel.
And so if you're Na'Vi, I think this is where you just say, we're going to push out the other lanes, we'll just give up top. Because also, on top of that, Glyph is on cooldown, so defending that, going to be tough, and they have a lot of heroes that aren't particularly combat-worthy. You compare, say, something like a Morphling to what? I don't know, a Storm Spirit brings to the table, and this early on is just not that scary, especially not when you go Lincoln Sphere build. Until you actually build the Lincoln Sphere, the Morphling doesn't bring a whole lot to the table. Waveform's good damage, there's no real lockdown, so they'll get a tier 1. A great trade for them, to be honest. If I'm Na'Vi, I'm happy with that. They're even going to commit to this push. This is a little more risky, but they'll go for it now. EG, 3 in a row, just lurking on the high ground. Well, Fear will come in as well. Are there sentries? Hook's gonna find Funnick on the back lines. Demon zips in, but he gets blown up by an Ice Path and a Shockwave from Dendi. Oh, man. Demon is so sad right now. That was some horrendous look. Jayo jumps in, unleashes a completely feudal Mono Void that does 0 damage. Now he's gonna go down too. 4 heroes dead. A lot of bad luck there for EG, but some really great play from Na'Vi as well. And it's going to be a team wipe. Dendi's got RP. Oh, he cancels it. Well played, because that was not going to connect. Fear juking for all he's worth. He's got an Impale. Can he find it? He turns to Impale. He gets it off. He may yet kill Dendi. Dendi's got to remove this tower aggro. Can't do it. Jammed in from the fountain. Has Na'Vi overextended. Kuroki may fall as well. Demon comes back in. All of a sudden, Puppey gonna drop 2. Fear is still alive. The old man just won't die. It's time for him to croak, but he says no. He gets out. Is Funnick gonna try and snipe him at the fountain? Doesn't look like it. Dendi just really forcing that issue.
That was pretty clowny there.
I mean, what do you say? Dendi just, he wanted to kill.
I have to love your analogy on Fear, though. He wanted to croak. Sorry, that was pretty funny.
Well, he's the old man. We need a new name for him, because we jokingly call Fear the old man, of course, but he is playing so well for this EG team, and well, he'll go in top. Vendetta into an Impale. Morphling can start to morph, but is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Pulled into the Remnant. Brought low. Battery Assault 2. Is he really going to live? Oh god, not now. They say hell no. They pull him back into the cogs, and down he'll go. It takes forever and a day to bring him down, but in the end they do. Unfortunately, they're all low now. They blew a lot to bring him into submission, and Funnick teleports in, looking to slow down the retreating heroes. RP is still available. Dendi's gonna blink. Skewer. RP settles for just Bambo. Wanted Dendi too, but couldn't find him. Demon on the run. Low on mana. He went for Boots of Travel, and as a result, will barely escape with his own life. And now they're pushing the tier 1 top. What is this game? All of a sudden, just got crazy.
Yeah, and James is going to be able to get bottom tower for this, it looks like, or do a considerable damage. I do think Funix should TP bottom and not... he's not going to get in time. The thing about that is that mid-fight, that was all Puppey's Ice Path. That setup, that was such a perfect Ice Path, because it hit both...
it hit Demon too when he's zipping
Yeah,
out.
it hit Demon and it hit the Clockwork. So that was epic.
I felt like it was epic, and it was also just really lucky too, because that was like the split second that Demon zipped in. Maybe it was intended, but it just felt like one of those things where it's like he's trying to Ice Path the Clockwork, and oh, by the way, he gets a 2-for-1 special, and well, that was the instant death for Demon.
Yeah. It's gonna be the mech is gonna be really important for both the teams, because it does feel like both the teams want to fight. So looking at the mech for EG, they have no hero that has a mech anytime soon. Bambo's gonna be going for the mech. He's not anywhere close. Puppey on the other hand, that was a tri-lane support, actually is gonna have it within the next 1,000 gold. So that's pretty big.
Yeah, and I mean they'll allow Funix to go for more of a carry build, I imagine, as he's sitting on 2,400 gold, continuing to split push. I'm surprised Funix hasn't died more this game. He's 1-1-7. The number of attempts made on his life. Granted, he had help from Dendi, but you look at EG's lineup. This lineup is like custom made to punish a Prophet and make him sad when he's split pushing, and Funix hasn't really fallen victim to that so far. And what makes it even more custom made and custom tailored is the fact that Demon has gone Boots of Travel. Like, if there was ever a lineup to kill a Prophet who's split pushing, this has got to be it. But Funix only died once, and I feel that's a large part of why Na'Vi find themselves in such a comfortable position. Up now by 7,500
they want to do Roshan.
And 5,000 experience.
They need the Aegis on Havos, because his hero, Morphling, we've been ignoring Morphling a bit, but he's going to be going for the Linken's here, which I do think is another good choice. Linken's is really, really good versus Storm, because he's going to be going for the Orchid, and it blocks either the Electric Vortex or the Orchid. So
here comes a Bambo Aegis steal. The patented special. He'll hook in now. He'll catch two in the cogs. Skewered out by Dendi. The cogs are left behind. Demon up onto the high ground. Finds Funix, but is out of mana. RP catches a few. He's still alive. He'll go down. Now J.O. wants Roche. Is he going to be able to bring this down? Demon back into the pit. Quickly and furiously, they try to finish the job. Dendi, no RP, unable to do anything. He already blew it up on the top side of that hill, and now an Ice Path. Catches 4, dual breath as well. May kill off Fear, he'll explode in a cloud of pain, and goes down. KuroKy stole Mana Void. That was why they had Mana Void. Was a little bit confused there myself for a second. Demon able to TP out. In the end, though, J.O. gets the Aegis, and I call it a victory for EG. If a bit of a chaotic one at that, I guess. They did lose 3, but they get the Aegis, it goes on to J.O., and he doesn't die, and all of a sudden, he's got his Battle Fury. Well, maybe not a convincing victory. What do you make of that fight?
That was the weirdest fight ever. That was a sick play there from Bambo. Even though he didn't get the... He didn't save the hook for the Aegis or anything. He got a really good cog off, and Dendi was forced to skewer him out. So, and then as soon as that happened, Demon went for Funix. So that was perfect there. The thing about that is they did get 2 kills at the end. Especially partly because of the Mana Void.
He'll go in, he'll catch 2 again. Funix able to force staff his way out of those cogs. Demon jumps in, goes on Dendi. There's no RP. Dendi hastering up, but can he get out to safety? I think he will. Mana Void's there. It's not enough. Where's that rocket? Cooling down for 8 seconds. Dendi blinks north. Can he get away? It looks like he will. On the back line, Havos try to escape. It seems he'll escape too, and KuroKy able to do so as well. I heard a rocket, but it seems like Dendi's going to be A-okay. Puppey, however, will not be so lucky. You can't run from this EG team. That much is for sure. In the end, Dendi escapes. It was like with 10 HP at most, man. Jesus.
Yeah, the problem with it's so hard to fight team. Like I said, it's first off, Dendi didn't even have RP, so I think that was a pretty bad push there from Na'Vi. They kind of forced the issue, and they really need to wait for this mech, because right now they're giving EG time to farm the mech up, and they gave AM basically a battle in that duration because he did get the Aegis kill. And he did get the Aegis as well. I mean, he got the Roshan kill and he did get the Aegis. So AM basically had nothing a few minutes ago, and now he has a Battle Fury. Even though it is a late Battle Fury, he's still gonna be able to get the farm up in time for the Manta.
And with this, if left unchecked, he should outfarm the Morphling. Linken's Sphere, a great item, saves you some fountain trips, but doesn't help you cleave through a huge camp the way that a Battle Fury can. So we'll see. Bottom lane, Dendi's looking for a Blink RP, but there isn't Aegis, so I don't know if they really want to blow it. I imagine save the RP for round 2. Oh, J.O. barely able to blink out in time. Probably would have lost the Aegis otherwise, but in the end, he'll get away.
I don't know for sure if it was the right choice on Funnick for not to go the mech. He did have a lot of gold early, and if they did want a team fight, the Force Staff is good, but I felt the mech would have been a lot better. And Fear actually has a Blink Dagger, wow.
He always has a Blink Dagger. Doesn't matter if it's Nyx, if it's Rubik, if they're losing, he always finds a way. Sort of similar story for KuroKy, although this game he hasn't managed to farm one, but he's pretty close to a Blink Dagger.
But he has the Blink Dagger from the AM, so that's fine.
Free Blink for him. Dendi gets caught in the back lines. Oh, this could be bad if they want to zip, and they're lurking in the trees. Bambo is ready, but first it'll be Demon into the fray. They look to bring down Dendi. The hook's gonna miss. He could get off an RP, but he actually skewers up to the high ground. He's still alive. He throws out a shockwave. He's gonna go down in the end, but that's done a lot of damage for his trouble. Now they've overextended. 3 dead, 4 to fall. They blow the Aegis as well, so call it 3 for the moment, but it might change soon. Jo blinks away, teleports out. KuroKy is here. Lift, and then stand and deliver. Where's that secondary nuke? They don't have it. Jo is able to blink away. KuroKy, still chasing. Not gonna find this kill. Maybe he will, actually. Here comes Funnick. That's some good damage. Sprouts him in. Zaps him as well.
Wow.
Down he goes. Wow. Call it 5 heroes dead if you include the Aegis. A massive victory for Na'Vi. And what's crazy is Dendi could have RP'd too and chose not to, and they still pulled that kind of a fight off.
I don't want to say a terminology for what just happened, but it's I can't help it. That was so forced. It looks like what Navi's. Oh my god.
Demon might even get blown up before being able to escape. He's disrupted with like 6 HP. He'll zip up to the high ground. Maybe it's gonna go the other way now. Na'Vi caught in these cogs. Could be that turnaround that EG need. Demon zips here. He zaps there. He wants Havost too. Havost is low. No linkage. Pulled back in. Can't morph fast enough. All of a sudden, just after EG get done overextending, it's Navi's turn to overextend. And what do you know? We still have ourselves a ball game. Na'Vi was starting to run away with it, but not so much the case anymore. They still lead by 7,500 gold and about 4,000 experience, but it's not insurmountable by any means for EG.
That was quite a... That was really weird.
You can say the word, Sam.
Yeah, that was... I don't want to say it. I hate saying that.
Okay.
But I don't know why Puppy and...
It's a dirty word.
I don't know why Puppy and Havost were up that far. Usually, I mean, that was just really cocky. No one was even close to them. And Dendi is going for the item he desperately needs. He needs his BKB. Or else he's just going to get aimed every fight. And with the BKB, even if they do go on him, he can pop the BKB off and then go to RP. That bottom fight, actually, he did have the RP up. So...
yeah, he did. At least at the end, I clicked on him and it looked like it was off cooldown, so... Yeah, he just chose not to use it, I'm not really sure. Bambo's gonna lurk on the high ground here. He has an Invis Rune, and Na'Vi smoke the second that they leave. Oh, this is going to be so unfortunate for Demon if he gets caught, and he will. A blink, and RP, they ain't messing around here, and Demon, well, he was probably hoping they were messing around, but they dropped the RP. Now they want Beatus. KuroKy is just a one-man hunting army. Beatus is going to try to teleport out. No way out for him. Is there going to be a lift in time? Maybe there is. He'll get back to the safety of his own base, but while that's happening, Fear and Bambo are farming the jungle rather aggressively. They're gonna smoke and be immediately revealed by Funnick, who just wanted to farm. Now maybe wants a courier. Instead, he'll Shadow Blade and look to escape. And the Impale will be a bit too late. Fear deploys a warp, but not in time. Here comes KuroKy. KuroKy's almost got a Sight Device, by the way. Ultimate Orb, as well as... well, we'll see Bambo get caught in the cogs now. Eats a nice pad. Will Force Staff himself south. Tries to escape. But there's really no way out. He'll hook to safety. Yes, there is. Of course there's a way out. There's Bambo Dota. How is there not a way out? Impale will catch one. Then a blink away from Fear, trying to run two. Bambo, even with the hook, it seems like he'll go down regardless. So Na'Vi, they still find an additional kill. Yeah, KuroKy, Voidstone, Ultimate Orb, 700 gold. They need lockdown. They're going to get it in the form of a Sight Device. And not even that late. For a support Rubik to have this kind of an item this early, that's pretty filthy.
And the thing is, he doesn't even need to go for the blink, because this is why Rubik is so good versus AM, because you basically get a free blink on your support. So this is basically KuroKy's game to shine, because he gets the perfect spell to steal out of everything else.
Boba, I'm going to put you in a tough position now. If you're EG, can you just sit back and farm? Can they take this late? Do they have to force the issue?
Yeah, I think the team with Shadow Demon can always take it late, because of how potent that hero is. Like, you just saw in the mid-fight, Demon was so close to dying, and then that was a perfect disrupt from Beatus, and the fight basically just turned, or else Demon was dead there. And you can just always disrupt the AM if they go on him, You can always disrupt the Morphling, especially. That's really important, the Morphling. And then the Soul Catcher just changes the fight. If you get a good Soul Catcher off in the late game fight, it just makes the fight. Yeah. Like, I remember, I think it was in the Zenith game versus that one team. What was it? Zenith versus Rattlesnake? And the late game Shadow Demon, he disrupted the Spectre and then Soul Catchered him and ulted. And the Spectre went from full HP. This was like a Heart Spectre. Went from full HP to like basically dead. This is off the Disrupt Illusions and the Soul Catcher.
Soul Catcher is pure damage, not something you want to play around with. And we'll see Fear, undercover of Vendetta, scouting for some kills, looking in the Na'Vi jungle, and he'll run right into Puppey, the one hero that he can probably solo kill at this point. Maybe Kuroky's Rubik, but he'll actually blink away. He decides this is not a good time to go, he'll back out. Well, in the end, Fear will live. Chooses not to go, and probably wisely at that.
This is a really tense game, because it feels like any one fight can just win the other team the game. Another thing is, even though EG does have the Shadow Demon, Funnick is farming really well, and you can't ever count out a Fury on split push. Morphling is one of the heroes that can outcarry an AM late game. Like, Morphling is probably one of the best late game heroes in the game, just because of how his stats work.
You've got Shadow Demon, we've got Replicate. Not quite as good, but it'll do at a pinch. And it lasts a lot longer, that's the one big thing.
I mean, you can purge the Replicate, so that is one possibility for EG. The problem is, Morphling, when he's eventually gonna... The maxed out Morphling can take on an AM. I think we saw that when... I think it was Mushi in the Orange vs LG Inc. game. I forgot who, but I think it was Mushi's Morphling that basically 1v5'd. So
if you get items like a Satanic and a Butterfly, you can solo almost anyone. I mean, aside from, I don't know, maybe a Void with a ton of items if he chronos you and gets some good bashes, but it's a hard hero to kill. And he's also going to have Empower on his side, so he gets even stronger. And any carry plus Prophet is stronger just because, like you said, they can split push, they can farm better, and they can control the lanes more effectively, keep them pushed out. So even if you lose a hero or two, you don't necessarily lose Rex. And Funnick's starting to just kind of spam his ult to improve the creep equilibrium. Seems to be going well for him. And now he'll go farm the EG jungle. So Funnick, again, just hasn't really died much this game. 4-3 and 11. Against these heroes, I would say that's pretty damn good and continues to be a pain in the side, a pain in the ass and a thorn in the side for EG.
Yeah. This is, even though it is a stressful game for Funnick, he is playing a lot more passive than he usually does. And that's mainly because of EG's heroes. You have the Nyx, the Storm, the Clockwork. You have all these heroes that you're going to be afraid of. But he's doing a good job of farming the enemy's forest. And every camp he takes away from AM is important. So, JO does have his Manta, so that's another big thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, there is a Manta on the field now. They'll smoke up, just having picked that up. Orchid is not online for Demon. They're going to go right before they complete that. Speaking of the Orchid, the BKB is also almost ready for Dendi. In fact, he'll most likely have it first unless he dies right now. And for the time being, in a pretty good position. They'll head north, EG, punting that Nature's Prophet, but, well, he's not there. Bambo, meanwhile, has battery assaulted some creeps. Funnick able to escape from him, and they'll head into the pit. EG, they're smoking top. They're going to lose a Roche for this, and that's very, very costly.
Yeah, Bamboo is for the cooldown on the rocket, and he just used it, actually, so... Dendi's actually pretty low.
Problem is, I don't think they can get here in time.
Where are the Furion trees?
Is Bambo going to go? That's the question. Will he hook in? He will. He hooks in like he always does, but Morphling has already taken the Aegis. Bambo is like allergic to not trying to steal the Aegis, and well, he'll go for it again here. No such luck.
Oh my god, this is...
You have
when it works, it looks like the best thing in the world, and then this happens.
You have to physically restrain this guy. Like, if you don't want him going into the pit, Fear's got to rip his keyboard out of the case, or he's going in. It just doesn't matter. Good news is Bambo's small, so if you need to physically restrain him, you probably can. But they didn't do it there.
I mean, Bambo is actually... Look at it, he's actually having a really rough game. He's 2-8, he has barely any farm. So, compared to the Funnick, Funnick basically has the most farm in this game, it looks like. Or probably up there. Yeah, he has the most farm in this game.
They're about to have double Scythe of Vice. Kuroky's gonna have one, Funnick's gonna have one.
Holy shit, 30-minute Scythe of Vice on your support.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier he was rushing it, but this is so fast. And it's largely because he's gone straight for it. No Blink Dagger, like you said, doesn't need it. EG have a lot of heroes that are vulnerable to that Scythe of Vice. Anti-Mage jumps in if he gets hexed, especially the Storm Spirit for Demon, who's trotting around with less than 1,000 HP. You can't disrupt everyone. And that's a lot of disables, additional disables afoot for Na'Vi, who now also have a BKB mag. It feels like it's going to be very hard for EG not to get picked off.
Yeah, I think EG, their only choice right now is maybe their team fight would have been better earlier on, but Na'Vi is out farming them so hard that there's no way they can force it. They have to be able to split push effectively.
Look
but
at
Na'Vi is.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So Na'Vi is one of the really hard teams to split push versus because they play the split push game really well. So.
And they just have a knack for finding the right fights. If you take it late and you try to split push versus them, they just seem to have a way of fighting them. In comes a waveform from Havost. His Lincoln Sphere will be popped. He'll man up with the Manta. Now he'll work on the tower. He was empowered for some time. He's actually dropping pretty low at that. In comes the Ice Path that sets up a Blink Skewer from Denny. Fear driven out of his base. He got his Carapace off, but isn't going to matter. And then he will escape under Vendetta cover. He's able to get away. There's no Havost here. Now Bambo comes in, stuns Havost, wall hooking in, but where's the backup? Some serious miscommunication. Now Jo comes in from the other side. EG are just not on the same page right now. Well, there's your Aegis down the drain. Jo's going to drop as well. If he doesn't have buyback, that might be game. He does. He'll buy back now. Still going to be tough. Fear almost caught by that additional Ice Path. There's no RP now for Na'Vi. Maybe they want to back. They're deciding to stay around. They do have the double scythe. Funix now arrived with the zone. So double scythe in this fight. Who needs RP, I suppose? This is going to be tough. There's your Blink, your BKB, your Skewer on Fear. He's scythed up, he's hexed up. Dropping low, Demon to fall first. Another scythe, another kill. One to the next, and Na'Vi are just overrunning EG in the shadow of their own base. 33 minutes in, getting absolutely crushed. Jo will jump in, but he's trying to fight his way through an absolute army of illusions and creeps and very farmed heroes, and he can't do it. They'll tap out. They'll call GG, and we reset our best of 3 to a best of 1. It all comes down to Game 3 in the WePlay.tv playoffs. We're in the loser bracket finals, and we're going the distance.
Wow, this is epic game. I mean, KuroKy, his Rubik today has been bite the bit. That's all I can say.
I don't mean to fanboy, but when is this? At least since he's over the past 6 months or 5 months, when has his Rubik not been really freaking impressive? But yeah, you're right. Today he's been super hot.
Okay, this it's like Mr. Devil wants them to kill the throne. Funix go one man.
There's a
Demon Sting.
There's a console command which, I forget what it is offhand. So Scheinberg Vet's in the lobby, so Funix is actually gonna go ahead and kill the throne. So we have a good record our scoreboard screenshots so the chat doesn't freak out. They love to do that. But well, Bulba, we've seen 2 games between these teams. EG took game 1, Na'Vi took game 2. Do you feel either teams look stronger overall? Do you have a favorite as far as who's going to take the series as we head into game 3?
I was doubting Na'Vi's picks this game, but they played so well and made up for it. I was especially doubting the Morphling. Havost did a really good job of farming up, and he did get the items in time, and this is a really rough game for Morphling. And he just still made it. He still made a good job. And he still did a good job of like not dying and being really good in the team fights. So
you're leaning towards Na'Vi, it sounds like?
I don't know. It depends because EG they had a really good lineup first game too, like depending on how they play. So I feel both teams right now are playing like EG's playing really well, and then Na'Vi also they can play really well, or they can kind of play like how they did the first game versus EG.
It's all a prelude to the qualifier. The qualifier, the Western qualifier, kicks off tomorrow, I believe, in far less than 24 hours. So technically it's tomorrow, but barely at that. Guys, stay tuned. We're not done just yet. I'm not gonna let you leave because we got more EG versus Na'Vi. Game 3 of this barn burner of a series is coming up next. I'm LD. He's Bulba. Stay with us.